administration did not go hard as hell on the lab leak shit, you are delusional, okay? I don't know why the JD Vance is even saying this. Maybe Republicans actually live in this alternative plane of existence where they where they think like the Biden administration didn't do this. It's not correct.
And in the interest of comedy, my friends, but also in the interest of truth, I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government.
Why would they ever censor? That's bullshit. Nobody ever censored that. Yeah, dude. The State Department censored its own commentary surrounding the lab leak theory. Shut the f up. Who believes this? You have to be a real
encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth. So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration.
Here, let's look at it. I Googled lab leak corona. CIA now favors lab leak theory to explain COVID's origins. This is from January 25th, 2025. Now, you might be thinking, oh, this is new. Except it's not, because the CIA under the Trump administration also said it. And the CIA under the Brandon administration also said the same thing. It's not a new thing at all, okay? The idea that, like, there was any point in time, unfortunately, there's new information now. So then find a 2020 article. Oh, how do you set markers for the search? I remember covering at the time. There was a Reuters article, if I'm not mistaken. Also, Donald Trump himself also talked about it being a lab leak. Is it the 3 dots? Is that how you do it? How do you do it? Tools? Oh, anytime. Okay, custom range from 2020 to 2020. Will that work? Wuhan scientists will welcome visit probing lab leak theory. Okay. Inside the Wuhan lab at the center of the coronavirus storm. Was the new coronavirus accidentally released from a lab leak? The Washington Post says doubtful. Here, but the question also, Five Eyes Network contradicts theory COVID-19 leaked from a lab. Coronavirus leaked from a lab, blame capitalism, not China. Coronavirus, is there evidence for a lab leak theory? The initial article, I think, literally came from Reuters. Yeah, COVID-19 lab leak theory cannot be ruled out, leading scientists say. When Joe Biden came into office, they unironically kept saying that the COVID-19 pandemic started in a lab, okay? And that they continued that. Former CDC Chief Redfield says he thinks COVID-19 originated in a Chinese lab. Biden ordered the review in 2021. The idea that, like, there was censorship over this is moronic. And it's also incredibly, like, but they 100% downplayed this at the time. You can't deny that. If anything, it was actually initially suggested by the State Department under the Trump administration, and it literally was not talked about as much because the scientific consensus at the time, which, by the way, still hasn't changed, ironically, was that it was most likely a zoonotic spread and that it would take a long-ass time to figure out the actual culprit, but investigations would continue. Ironically enough, under the Biden administration, they were significantly more aggressive with the lab leak theory. Significantly more aggressive, because they saw it partially as a way to attack the Trump administration, the administration prior. There was censorship, whatever, bro. What? They did? I got racist for calling it the Taiwanese virus? So what if the CIA said it, the blessed timeline bifurcation, there was censorship, whatever, bro? What are you saying, dude? Yeah. If you think that the Biden administration did not go hard as hell on the lab leak shit, you are delusional, okay? I don't know why the JD Vance is even saying this. Maybe Republicans actually live in this alternative plane of existence where they where they think like the Biden administration didn't do this. It's not correct. They did. They actively pushed that there was a lab leak. They actively pushed for it, and they, I think, pushed for it for a couple different reasons. One, it gave them the opportunity to shit on the Trump administration a little bit. It also, two, gave them the opportunity to be more xenophobic, obviously, to make it seem as though like China is either A, in the most charitable terms, incompetent in dealing with these like dealing with these diseases, or B, deliberately released it. Loving that you shit on the German left, which comprises 7% of politics, whereas the left in the U.S., says the German chatter, not recognizing that I actively shit on not the German left, German liberals and German what the fuck is wrong with you? When have I ever shit on the German left? Unless you're talking about like anti-Deutsche or some shit. Those freaks. What is this? COVID-19 origin? Leave setting to 2020? I'm confused. You know how to Google stuff, right? I mean, cool. I don't have a stake in this game. Just if you're going to search something, don't bias your results off rip. Wait, what? No, they said there was active suppression. Why would Google search results actually give me... If Google search results across the board show me that there was a lab leak stories in 2020, then that means that there is no active state suppression in the way that JD Vance suggested. There's certainly no active state suppression in the Brandon administration, especially. That's not how Google works, dumbass. If they actually censored it, there wouldn't be any articles at all. Google search results across the board are simply going to show you things that it thinks you are interested in. What? He was talking about social media posts from normal people. Yeah, that's okay. That's shit. I'm not saying no censorship or no policies were implemented or advocated for by the government. But if you think that the COVID lab leak theory was censored, you're wrong. That's it. You're wrong. That's what JD Vance's point was, and I disagree with that. If you're talking about how like vaccines made, I don't know, vaccines actually gave you permanent orgasms or something, and the government was like, this is incorrect, this is misinformation, and it's actually going to decrease vaccination rates. Please actively combat this kind of misinformation. That's a totally separate subject matter. But if you're talking about the fucking lab leak theory, the Biden administration actively pushed for it.
We'll do precisely the opposite, and I hope that we can work together on that.
And so did Ryan Grimm, for example. There are leftists out there who are also firm and committed believers of the lab leak theory as well. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not going to automatically assume that that is the case because they were doing gain of function research or whatever the fuck, okay? I think one of my superpowers is that I'm a dumbass, but I at least know I'm a dumbass, okay? There are things that I know, and there are areas where I have gaps in knowledge. I'm not a researcher of pandemics, okay? I'm not a researcher of epidemics. I'm not an epidemiologist at all. I have no real way of investigating whether or not COVID was a fucking zoonotic spread disease or an actual gain of function research in a laboratory that actually escaped the lab, escaped containment. I simply rely on the consensus of the academics that know better than me. And the same goes for vaccines. I'm not a fucking nerd. I don't know the science behind the vaccines. So, of course, I have a degree of trust and confidence in the people that have dedicated their lives to this scientific research. That's it. Now, across the board, that confidence does not extend to all aspects of Western media or all aspects of academia in all issues. There are areas where I am fairly knowledgeable. Okay. I also understand the limitations that epidemiologists have and the delicate balance of protection versus not causing panic that they have to implement in their communication strategies. So obviously sometimes they go a little heavy-handed. So I'm understanding of their mistakes, like when they say masks are actually not good or whatever the fuck. I'm not immediately going to cast aside all matter of epidemiology or Epidemiology is a hoax science anyways. They don't know shit. See, this is what I mean. You're a fucking baboon, dude. Literally. Like, actually, not even a baboon, because I feel like even a fucking baboon would be like, oh, there's disease, I think, here. I should move away. That's what a baboon would do. You, on the other hand, are rushing towards the fucking disease. Shut the fuck up. Epidemiologists are stupid. They don't know anything. What do you know? You're a fucking Twitch commenter, dude. What are you talking about? What happened? What happened to the fucking universe, dude? How? All technological advancements, fucking academia, the field of research, scientific discovery, cast it aside. Throw it away. Look alive, gentlemen. There's an American here. It blows my fucking mind, dude. People just straight up, they go, oh, thousands of years of research. Excuse me. Thousands of years of research. Ain't never seen a guy like me before. Like, that's what's so frustrating about fucking American dumbasses, especially. Dumbasses of this degree exist everywhere, but god damn do they exist in America, where it's American exceptionalism and American individualism that has created this fucking discourse poison where every goddamn arrogant moron comes in and says, all of the fucking experts are stupid. Me, on the other hand, I know everything. You're not even literate. Shut the fuck up. Americans unironically think they know better than, like, people who have poured their entire lives into this shit. That isn't to say that there aren't indecent pressures and indecent incentive structures that play a role in muddying the waters, or think tanks coming up with corporate-backed studies to undermine public confidence in certain things. Like, there are other incentives and other pressures involved, and you should be critical of this, okay? But god damn, like, especially when it comes to the public sector, it blows my fucking mind that people are so ready to just be like, well, my doctor told me this thing, but he's a fucking idiot. I know better. Like, how did you arrive at this? How do you exist? How do you live in modernity? Okay? How do you live in modern life where so much of the shit that you take for granted is unironically experts working tirelessly behind fucking closed doors so you don't get trichinosis from the fucking meat that you're consuming, but you just take it all for granted and you think, well, nope, I'm God's special child. That's how I got here, because I know everything. You don't know anything. You know nothing. You are dumber than the average person if you genuinely feel this way. God, have some fucking decency, dude. Holy shit. So many of us are unironically here because of fucking vaccine research, okay? That's it. That's literally the case. So many, tens of millions of people right now, if not billions of people right now, are alive entirely due to vaccine research, entirely due to the invention of vaccines and fucking antibiotics. It blows my mind. There's so many people just discount all of that because they're like, I don't know what a germ is because I can't see it, so it's fake. Oh, it genuinely does not make sense. And there's so many, like, immediately contradictory things that you can point to. Like, if vaccines are actually fucking fake or supposed to make you gay and autistic, why did the wealthy people cut the line? If vaccines actually kill people, why did Israel refuse to give vaccines to the Palestinians and kept it for their own population? Like, that makes no sense. You think Israel wanted to preserve Palestinians from autism and homosexuality? Is that what you think was going on? Yeah, vaccines kill you. That's why Donald Trump took it. Chatter would be dead from drinking poopy water. Cholera have an ass peasant. That's what I'm saying. People are actively undermining the importance of like public researchers and regulators, and that's where we're heading towards, and it's pissing me off because I don't give a shit if you want to drink raw milk till your ass bleeds, okay? But I don't want the fucking water supply to get even more fucked. God damn, dude. Y'all are fucking everything up. Not you guys in this chat. Many of you are obviously not insane. But it pisses me off to no end that Republicans don't just, like, fuck shit up for themselves. They fuck it up for everybody. They fuck it up for the rest of the planet, too. That's what JD Vance is doing right here. He's like, oh, yeah, you guys, hate that you guys, like, restrict fascism in your countries. Can you please let them also be fucking brain diseased like we are here in America? Look at how great America is. That's the real threat. Oh.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town. And under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
Dieses Nie wieder ist der historische Auftrag, dem Deutschland the history of our country.
Do you think there was anything in the Vice President's speech worth reflecting on?
Oh. You mean all this very relevant as discussions about Ukraine and security in Europe? Müssen diese nationalen Anstrengungen in eine Stärkung europäischer Fähigkeit. Die AfD ist eine Partei, aus deren Reihen heraus der Nationalsozialismus und seine monströsen Verbrechen, Menschheitsverbrechen, wie sie in Dachau geschehen sind, als Vogelschiss der deutschen Geschichte verharmlost werden. Ein Bekenntnis zum Nie wieder ist daher nicht mit der Unterstützung für die AfD in Einklang zu bringen. Maßstab muss die Bedrohung durch Russland sein und das Erreichen aller daraus abgeleiteten.
They're laughing JD off the stage. I mean, it doesn't matter. America will, as always, have the last laugh, okay? Just like you can also have the last laugh as long as you subscribe, which not at the top of the hour or the middle of the hour, but just in an effort to support the show if you choose to do so. Subscribing can be free as long as you have a Twitch Prime subscription. It can also be for $6 if you don't have a Twitch Prime subscription and you've used it somewhere else. I'm saying this because there's a hype train going on. Also, you can gift subs to other people in the community. This way, you'll be able to send me links if you chose to do so. Sex Haver, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Or no, 10 gifted subs, actually. Vil Moragar, thank you for the 10 gifted as well. Scarecrow on Fire, thank you for the 20 gifted. Hype train level 4 achieved. Sometimes I got to remind you guys. Holy moly. Posted Chronic, thank you for the 10 gifted.
Deshalb werden wir es nicht akzeptieren, wenn Außenstehende zugunsten dieser Partei in unsere Demokratie, in unsere Wahlen und in die demokratische Meinungsbildung eingreifen. Das gehört sich nicht. Erst recht nicht unter Freunden und Verbündeten.
I really hope that Germans have some semblance of backbone, which, by the way, I'm not entirely relying on that. But the fact that JD Vance actually sidestepped the chancellor and like went and talked to the fucking AfD will piss off the Germans enough to vote instead of get excited at the prospect and vote for AfD even more. Like a similar thing to what's going on in Canadian politics right now, where Justin Trudeau dropping out and also Donald Trump actively saying he's going to fucking annex Canada has created this weird backlash. Where Canadians are now looking at the Liberal Party as their savior once again, because the Conservatives are seen as like the pro-America party, even though they also have taken like a very aggressive stance against America. I do feel like this is a unique opportunity for the NDP, and it's crazy to me that they're not taking it. RG Vaggie, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. The right wing across the board is, too busy kissing Trump's ass, which is actually harming their chances from what I understand. You got Canadians like feeling a national sense of pride. I really hope that a similar thing happens in Germany, and then just like they avoid the AfD disaster by wide enough margins that there's no coalition necessary even.